Hey everyone, it's Nick with Radon Detection. In today's video, I'm just going to do a quick guide of the AlphaHound Plus. We're going to show you some of its modes and features, and we're going to go over what it can and can't do. So here we have an AlphaHound Plus. It comes with a protective dust cover on the back. That'll protect your aluminized mylar from any damages, dust, and debris. If we power on the device, we're greeted by our logo, and then a calibration screen. After it's done calibrating, it'll take us over to our AB separation modes on the AlphaHound Plus. If I bring in a check source here, we have a thallium 204 beta check source. You can see the beta side lights up, so every time you see a sparkle on this side, that means an interaction has happened on the scintillator. You can see as our beta check source gets closer, we get more and more counts. Likewise with alpha particles, if we get alpha interactions, you can see they light up on that left side there. As we get more and more alpha particles, that side will get brighter and brighter. Other things to note on this screen is we have our units of measurement down here. So it's in CPM mode right now. We can see our CPM, that's counts per minute. We have our battery indicator. Next to that, we have a sunlight indicator, which will tell you if there's a light leak present. And then lastly, we also have a check mark that indicates that the sensors are working correctly. We'll give the device a shake. We'll go to the next mode. So here we have our rolling graph. This is an average over a certain amount of time. So you can see as we move this closer, count rate goes up. And as we move it further back, the count rate goes down, and it'll automatically scale to the right size. This is a good mode for finding radioactive objects. If we give the device another shake, we'll go to the next mode. Here's our low power sparkle screen. This is like a good screensaver or just visualizer. Each time you see a sparkle, again, it's just an interaction that's happened on the scintillator. So as we get this closer, you can see we get more and more sparkles until we white out the screen. That works for alpha particles too. Give it another shake. We'll go to our spectrum mode. So here in spectrum mode, we have our different separation regions. So this is all going on in the background. You can see as we bring in our check source, that alpha side starts to get particles that light up. You can see over here in the alpha region, we have plenty of hits. Give the device a small shake, we'll reset the spectrum. We can bring in our beta source, and you can see we get a lot of beta activity, but we don't get any alpha. Again, another small shake will reset that spectrum. Give it another shake, we'll go into our menu. Here you can change between counts per minute, counts per second. You can give it a small shake to go down a menu option. Here we have our speed, so how fast do you want the averaging to happen. So that'll affect your rolling graph, that'll affect the counts per minute number, counts per second number down at the bottom. Give it another shake, we can see our modes right here, and then I'll show you modes in a second here. In our background subtraction mode, this lets you remove background if your device is contaminated or if you just want more accurate readings. You can tip the device to the right, and you can see it'll start to subtract background. So right now it's picking up on our beta check source over here, and it'll take a full minute and then remove our background. Once it's done subtracting our background, our wait timer will go away, and then it'll show us the final number it got after a 1 minute time. You can see we have no counts per minute alpha, but we do have 751 counts per minute beta. That is our background, and that will be subtracted off our next readings. Give the device another shake, we'll exit back out, and we can loop back through to the menu again. So here in the menu, if we go down to the modes option, you can see we can enter that, and here you get to select your favorite modes. So if you really like AB Sparkle to start, you can choose that, or we can go over and have it start on a different mode. So I'll show you some modes we haven't looked at yet. First we'll start with AB Averaging mode. We can go to Radon mode, show you our 2D spec. So if we shake out of there, here in our averaging mode, this gives us the average readouts for alpha, beta, and the total count rate. So you can see it's saying 0 counts per minute beta because we've subtracted our beta count rate. You can see once we increase that, now we start getting our beta count rate. And that would happen with alpha as well if we had an alpha background. You can see the numbers take a little bit longer to respond. That's to give more accurate readings. If we give the device another shake, we'll enter our Radon mode. So this mode rejects our beta readings and only shows us alpha count rate. It's correlated with radon levels. I wouldn't use this mode for anything serious other than to, maybe a quick check on what your radon levels are. If you need to accurately measure radon, we recommend just buying a radon monitor. The device has a rolling average over 2 hours. So every 1 minute, it'll update the chart. And then over the course of 2 hours, it'll give you an average picocurie per liter. Again, we don't recommend this mode for anything other than a quick check or, just to see what your radon levels are, maybe an approximation. Again, it's not meant to be a radon monitor. And also be aware, if you have any alpha sources in the proximity nearby, that'll also affect our radon readings. Give the device another shake. We can enter our 2D spectrum mode. So you can see here we're getting some beta pickup. We move our beta source in closer. You can see that peak fills out. So that's what beta looks like on our 2D spectroscopy. And then if we give it a small shake, we'll reset our spectrum. I gotta hide my beta sources over here because they're getting picked up. We give the device another shake to reset our beta spectrum. And bring in our alpha source here. So you can see the alpha spectrum will get smoother and smoother as we give it more time. We get a lot of people that ask if the AlphaHound Plus can do alpha spectroscopy. It cannot identify between isotopes, but of course we are viewing an alpha spectrum right now. But we don't recommend it for any alpha spectroscopy or being able to tell the difference between polonium-210 and americium-241. It's more of just a visualizer and useful for the alpha-beta separation. That's for a couple of reasons. One of the first being air blocks a significant amount of alpha particles. So you can see if we clear out our spectrum here, and as we slowly approach the source, you can see those are actually hitting with very low energy. And that's just the air blocking the alpha particles. It interacts with the alphas on the way to the sensor. Next, alpha scintillators just aren't great for alpha spectroscopy. They're more intended for contamination monitoring. Of course, we can still use that spectroscopy to do fantastic alpha-beta separation. You will notice a beta pickup from our alpha particles. These are just when really weak alpha particles hit the scintillator, they can get confused for betas. If we have a beta check source, for instance, we get a lot of beta activity, but we don't get any alpha. AlphaHound Plus has a fantastic beta to alpha rejection ratio. This can make sure that whenever you see an alpha particle, it is definitely an alpha particle. The device also comes with a USB-C port. It charges in around an hour and a half. Battery life can vary between 3.5 hours to 20 hours depending on display modes. You know, if you're in something like AV separation modes, it runs a bit more on the hardware, versus if you're in a more simple mode, or especially our low power mode, that'll help out more. In our next video, we're going to cover the teardown process. I'm going to show you all how to replace certain things like our titanium grate. We'll go over how to replace the screens, as well as the aluminized mylar. This has been RadView Nick. I'll see you all in the next one.